Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Well That's Horrific podcast. Here we talk about anything and everything horror. I'm Tom Cruise,
And I am Mr. S.
and I know you see this background here, but we're not actually going to talk about Scream today.
Oh, why? Why not? You got my hopes up a little bit.
I left this here just to be a little reminiscent. You know, I know this is coming soon, so just kind of want to leave it there lingering in the background for all of us. What are we talking about today?
Life. You know, like
Yes, life. That's very
no,
horrific at the
no,
moment.
no. I mean, we could talk about anything and everything. How are you doing? How's your week?
Good. Busy. Holidays, of course. What yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Holidays, happy holidays to anyone and everyone who's celebrating. That's what we're talking about today. We're getting into the Christmas spirit, a little bit festive. You know, we did mention we were gonna watch Violent Night and talk about it and review it, starring David Harbour. And I finally got a chance to watch it. Have some things to say. Interesting movie. And yeah, like I said, trying to get into the spirit of Christmas, and what a twist. What a twist for sure.
No, definitely. Now, I can't really talk about Christmas besides, mentioning the obvious, right? During Christmas time, what do you normally watch? Watch Home Alone, maybe A Christmas Story.
Right.
We're doing a little bit different, right? This year, we got a couple of Christmas horror movies.
Right.
We got Violent Night. Another one that we mentioned was Christmas Buddy Christmas.
Right.
Both Santa Claus movies, technically. I mean, they're both Christmas, but both Santa Claus kind of
Yeah,
causing mayhem.
there's a lot of going on. We've even mentioned like the Mean One coming out.
Yes, the Mean One was another one.
Yeah, we were talking about how popular these movies are becoming, because we never really have horror Christmas movies like that, and
yeah,
we've
it's
seen
never
a lot
really
more.
a thing. It seems like this year has been heavy on that, though.
It has.
Like,
It definitely
more than
has
the past. More than the past,
Yes.
for sure. With that being said, let's dive in. I do have the plot synopsis here for us. Violent Night, directed by Tommy Wirkola, stars David Harbour, of course. When a group of mercenaries attacks the estate of a wealthy family, Santa Claus must step in to save the day. And Christmas.
Yes.
I love the end Christmas part.
Yes. Yes.
We knew about this for a while now. We saw the tease. We knew it was coming out. I mean, David Harbour as Santa Claus, sign me up, right? Like,
David Harbour has quite the resume. Like, you've seen him in a lot of things. Obviously Stranger Things,
most recently,
Extraction. I've seen him. Equalizer, Suicide Squad. He has his resume.
He's in Black Widow.
Black Widow. That's right. Recently, and like he's one of the top action actors out there. And as Santa Claus, that's just something that I would have never imagined, but obviously the way that they do it, the way that they portray Santa Claus here in this movie, what a fit. Seriously, what a perfect fit.
Yeah, I mean, interesting fun fact, David Harbour has now played Santa Claus and Hellboy.
That's true. That's actually true. Hellboy, my God.
Right? He also played Hellboy. He played Hellboy and Santa Claus.
Right.
So let's get a little bit into it. We knew this was going to be Santa Claus causing mayhem from the trailers.
Right.
We knew that he was going to save the day. That's all written in the plot synopsis. I'll start with some of the pros of this movie. I like how straightforward it was.
Right.
Like, I like how we got to the point. Santa was not having a good Christmas. He basically gave up faith on humanity. The kids, all they wanted was money.
Which is something that, I think a lot of people can possibly, agree with. Spoiler warning for anyone who hasn't watched it,
but it's like the first 5 minutes.
Exactly. And just in general, spoiler warning too, because this movie we're going to talk about it. But yeah, I think you're right. They get straight to the point, and not only just with what Santa Claus is thinking about, but mostly also who Santa Claus is in this movie, and what's his feelings, like what's his goal here, and like just introducing David Harbour as Santa Claus. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Bad Santa. I don't know if you've ever seen that film.
Of course. Definitely
so like,
a lot of Bad Santa vibes in this, of course.
Absolutely.
I absolutely love it. I love the intro. with him drinking at the bar. I love him
Yeah,
throwing
yeah,
up on the girl. I love that Santa Claus was already that character in this. Like it
right,
wasn't like, I mean, yes, it basically works the other way around where he starts off that way and he kind of gets his cheer back as the movie
right,
ends. I really like that. I like how fast paced it was. Once things got started, like there wasn't much to Santa showing up on to that estate. Like
right.
everything was like really fast, and for people who don't have like a long attention span, or I guess for people who have a short attention span, this is great because like you're focused, everything is happening. There's not really a slow part of this movie, I would say. What do you think?
Um, yeah, no, I think you're right. There isn't really a slow part to this movie. Um, I think the introduction again of Santa Claus is great. It's funny too. I think this movie is surprisingly funny. Like I actually
Yes.
found myself laughing a couple of times, and you can compare David Harbour's character here as Santa Claus to Hopper from Stranger Things. Literally the exact same like introduction, in my opinion. He drinks. He's like sluggish. He's like doesn't
Yep.
really want to do his job, but he's about his job
Yeah.
at the same time, and it's it moves. The movie flows pretty well. From scene to scene and transitions, and it's good. It's good. It has some great elements to it, and I do like the fact that they really keep Christmas at the center of the whole thing. They really
Yep.
do, and yeah, it works. It works really well. We'll get into that in a little bit more.
He has a naughty and nice list. He has the reindeers are here.
the-
No Rudolph.
And it's the Christmas magic here. It's the
Yes,
Christmas magic here that
Christmas
he just
magic.
can't
And
decipher.
I love the way he uses his magic, bro, with the whole nose thing. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's something that they do well too, right? It's like it's one of those things where they introduce it in the beginning, so later on when it's presented again, you're not like confused as to what it is, whether it's the nose thing, whether it's his list, whether it's his bag too,
Yeah.
of
He
presents.
has an infinite bag of presents, pretty much.
Yeah, which is honestly pretty cool because once he came down the chimney, I was like, "Yo, like, where's he? How does he fitting all the presents there?" I've never seen a Christmas movie that introduced it that way. I may be wrong here.
I think something might have had that before, but I'm not sure of the top of my
Yeah, I
head.
mean,
Something
not
like
to my
that,
recollection. Yeah,
Not, I can't pinpoint it, but I think there might have been something that did it before.
yeah. It's
Um,
but that's a great first 10 minutes or so, and then we have the introduction of two former couples. I want to say like. Two people who are an item and now aren't, but they have a daughter together, and obviously they have some animosity towards each other. And
Yeah, you don't know exactly what happened. Or the context that we get early on is they're not together anymore, but they're coming together for Christmas for the little girl. That's
right,
that's what it feels like, right?
he
He doesn't really
he,
see his daughter much.
he doesn't see his daughter as much. And this is what I think. These are the problems that I have with these type of movies. Is the cast. Like, I don't know, man. Like in the beginning, like I'm like, okay, the father like looks like such a innocent person. I really don't know what the story is here, but I believe him, in like the first
Yeah.
10-20 minutes, and then like throughout the rest of the movie, I couldn't stand him. And not just him, but a lot of these characters. I feel like there's like a balance, I guess, with this movie. I think you have action and a funny story, but then at the same time,
Yeah,
you have
so
something that works against them with the casting.
We have, I would say, an A, a B, and a C story, right?
Right.
A story is just Santa going through his day, delivering all the presents. The B story is I would say, probably the heist, because that probably is more
True.
more to
yes,
it.
that's the whole
The
point.
actual heist, and then the C story is the couple, right? We have the
Right.
dad, the mom, and the kids. I mean, there's other stories, but they're not really much to them.
Right.
But I'm with you. I thought the character of the dad was very strange. There was nothing to do. It couldn't really get in direction as to whether he was good or bad.
Yeah,
or
it
what
was just like
going
it was
on.
so inconsistent and so
There was something off.
conflicting moving. Yeah, it was like
Early on, they make you seem like he's this nice guy. all this,
exactly.
and then there's a
Yeah.
twist that happens somewhere along the middle of the movie and then you're like, wait a minute, that's what you were doing.
Exactly, exactly. And on top of that, so exactly when you say, "Oh, that's what you were doing," like they make it seem like he's such a sweet guy, and obviously he's trying to work with, his wife, like, and the relationship for the benefit of their daughter and their life, and all that stuff. And then we come to find out what he's actually been preparing, and on top of all of that, like the actor himself just wasn't it. Like I don't know what it is about these type of movies that upset me, and I've compared this to like indie films in general. Like I know like they have these actors that are, and I'm not saying I'm the best actor in the world. I'm not even an actor like that, but you gotta sit down. Like there's a casting director for a reason. Like and understand that these people are just not for that role. They're just really aren't.
I agree with you, but I think I only agree with you with the dad. Because I didn't think anybody else did a bad job, only because they were genuine to what they were trying to be, right? The grandma was supposed to be a bitch.
Grandma was good. Grandma was good. Grandma was good.
Supposed to be an airhead, no? The sister was supposed to be an airhead.
But still,
the son
like,
was supposed to be a dick.
Yeah.
Everybody else, I felt like fit the role. And then again, John Leguizamo, fucking kills every role.
Oh, he's the man.
He's awesome.
He's the man. He's awesome. But this, like, I don't know, the sister, like, I wasn't feeling.
Supposed to be an airhead.
Trudy, who plays the daughter, I give her a pass because obviously she's a kid, and like for being a kid, she did a great job. Still wasn't it, but I give her a pass. The son, I was annoyed with. Yo, the freaking husband. What's his name, man? The husband.
The guy from Never Back Down.
Yeah, bro. Like he's acted better than that. Like I get it. His character was being a complete naive.
I think the critique here I would have for all of them would be not necessarily their performances, and maybe we can chalk this up a little bit to the dad as well. I just think maybe the writing wasn't wasn't done very well for them, because like there wasn't much to that guy. He just left. He ran away. He ends up running away, right?
And then they kill him.
Yeah, it was mad weird. Yeah, there was something off when it came to the writing of the rest of the characters. I think I agree with you.
Yeah,
even with the little girl. The little girl had some funny lines and a lot of Home Alone references and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different.
Definitely. But all right.
So we get introduced to the heist, right? There's something going on. One of my favorite things about this movie is that all the I guess the guys that were part of the plan, they have code names and they're all Christmas related.
That was cool.
We got Gingerbread, we got Scrooge,
Candy Cane,
Frosty,
I think.
Yeah, Krampus. Oh my God, Krampus. Fucking real life psychopath, man.
Nah, that was funny though. He was a funny character.
Yeah, I love Krampus. If you ever played by Brendan Fletcher, he has some very twisted movies. If you go into his catalog. I thought it was very interesting. I like how they set everything up. They were there. I love that they didn't hold back any, like, there was no holding back. They pretty much killed everyone and took all the hostages.
Right.
That's one of the things that did surprise me of this movie. Again, I guess the main reason we're reviewing this is because this was categorized as quote unquote horror, but really it's mostly because it's gore. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Exactly.
It's very gory. All right, I will say this right now. Best kill was, I think, the second kill. Santa's second kill. Star to the face. Plug in that light. That was fucking fire.
That was
fire.
A kill to remember.
For sure.
But I also do think, what you call it, Scrooge, the guy who plays, what's his name again? The Italian
John
dude.
Leguizamo?
John, yeah, him. I think that was a great kill too, though. Up the chimney.
Yes, up the chimney when he blew up.
That
was a pretty good
I thought
kill
that
too.
was.
I'm not allowed.
That was dope.
It's between them two for sure. I think those are
but it's listen, man. Like, there's a lot of things this movie did well. There's obviously a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of things that they just, I don't know. I thought they were playing around with it. But let's talk here about the Christmas element. So we talk about horror movies, and I've told you this before that I am not invested in horror Christmas movies. I'm just not. I think like that's just a way for movies to just become movies. Like, it's just, there's no sense in watching it. There's no fun in it. I think I don't know. I just think I'm not invested in it. I don't know. But this movie, they do it really, really well. Yeah. While at the same time having that Christmas spirit, you know, like
Christmas spirit. There's a theme to it.
There's a theme to it, Christmas spirit. They have all the elements that make a Christmas movie there, believe it or not. Like the way they portray, the way David Harbour portrays Santa.
Like horror movie or Christmas horror movie, I guess.
Exactly, but like the way like he's like Santa coming down the chimneys, having the cookies and the milk, and
he's having a blast.
The reindeer and like the gifts and the lists, and then like obviously there's the story of Scrooge and how he doesn't like Christmas, and like I think
he has his own like trauma from his past, reason why he doesn't like Christmas. And then one of the most interesting things that I thought that they did was they gave Santa like a history, right? You see his past, and they speak about all the iterations of Santa. He names them all the names that Santa has had throughout different representations, which I thought was amazing to do.
I thought that was amazing, and I thought that was a great touch. I think what's even greater is the fact that he doesn't know how things, like he's Santa Claus, but he still doesn't know how things work. And as a viewer, that kind of resonates because it's like, how is he Santa? Like, how did he go from being like a freaking barbarian to Santa Claus? And how does this work? And he's just like, Christmas magic. And like, at the same time, he doesn't know how it works, but he loves his job. You know, like he wants to deliver the presents to the kids. Like he wants people to have Christmas spirit. I thought that was portrayed very funny, like too.
100%.
And it was great, man. I think David Harbour just does a great job, man. Like it was just
to that moments. Point, I do think that they like the priority. I mean, should be prioritized this way. But I think they did put more of an emphasis on that side of the story when it came to it. Right? It's almost like when you watch some of those other movies and you see, like, for example, Godzilla. You realize that the Godzilla story is always better than whatever's going on the ground. Right. It kind of feels like that for me too. It's like they put all the focus here on that. And maybe that's why some of the other elements of the movie lacked.
Yeah,
man. The main focus here was David Harbour, Santa, that story. Right.
I didn't care for the family. I didn't care about the relationship. I didn't care who got the money after the mom died. I didn't care for any of it. I cared for...
I'm with you, 100%.
David Harbour. The action I thought was pretty great. Like, really great. Yep. And, you know, the scenes
itself... The best thing about it was the kills, man.
The kills were listen, can we name something? Look, we have obviously mentioned the star. Let's talk about the icicle. What does he say?
Oh, the icicle is perfect.
Yeah, that was a great kill. The one, obviously, the extraction team was great too. There's just a lot. There's a lot of like kills here that worked, and
they got really creative with them for sure.
Creative, like how can you not be creative?
Yeah. Christmas things, right? One of them involves a chimney, the other one involves a Christmas star. Yeah.
Really, really interesting. I thought throughout like all this action, you have comedy like implemented here that just fit. Like it just fit. I think I died fucking laughing when I don't know what that lady's name was, Candy Cane, the blonde lady, like with the short hair. She's like walking, and then like Santa's like behind him, like he has like I forgot what he had on his hand, like some like decorations or whatever, and he's like slowly tippy-toeing, and then some Santa toy or something like starts saying ho ho ho, and he kind of the lady looks around and he goes fucking traitor or something. He goes, you traitor. Like that was not what I expected at all. I didn't think that was gonna happen. You know, I'm waiting for some action. I just thought that was so funny, man. And then he's like running away, like goes back to the door. It's things like that just made
it was hilarious in this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, man.
Even it was, from the beginning, from the little elements of the beginning of him being drunk and an asshole, and then like actually leaving people cold.
Right,
and like
exactly.
Some of the dialogue that he mentions about with the kids and stuff, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
and even some of the interactions with the little girl.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's cool too. I think how like her father kind of gives her that walkie-talkie.
We knew the setup from the trailer where like she's talking to Santa over the walkie-talkie.
Right. Exactly.
She's like the only one that really believes in him. Nobody believes in him.
Yeah, and like what a fucked up line from her dad too. Like what a scene was like Santa's not real, and then like the robbers are like, damn, like that's making it worse, man. You can't do that.
Krampus is like, really, like right now. That's why.
insane. But yeah, no, like I mentioned, like the way they introduce things, the way they introduce the magic in this film just works because you understand it, and like it ties like well with everything else. The walkie-talkie, like I mentioned before, like the list and the bags and everything. Like even though in his fight scene with that guy, and like I'm gonna call that like the shed or a guest house. I have no idea what that was where they were fighting. Like the guy's like trying to punch him, and like he has the bag and he reaches out. Yeah, like I think that was so cool, man.
So clever. Yeah.
That was great writing on that aspect. Whoever was like thinking about that, good for you. And it worked. This movie was nonstop action. The story was interesting. I think it had some like plot twist with the extraction team. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously
they give you the whole Die Hard 2 twist. You know.
Yeah, I think for me the build up to the extraction team was interesting because she's like telling Scrooge, the mom, the one with all the money. She's telling Scrooge like, you know, my extraction team this, and they got him back within a week, and like she's whatever, and he's like, yeah, whatever, and then they come in and like they're part of them too. It's like, okay, how do they escape this? You know?
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I mentioned, I took that as another reference to Die Hard because as a reference to Die Hard or another Christmas movie is what I meant to say, because obviously we get the whole thing where like Trudy, the little girl, had just seen Home Alone, which is why she's doing all these pranks. Which again, we can talk about that as well because those are brutal.
Right.
But she had just seen Home Alone, so she's doing all this Home Alone stuff. There's a whole bunch of Home Alone references. And then in Die Hard 2, if you remember that movie, when they call the army or the reinforcements or whatever to help them, it's also the same sort of thing where like, oh, they're the team that came to help, and then they end up being the bad guys or working with the bad guys. I was like,
right.
Okay, that's a nice little reference.
Right.
They were even kind of dressed the same. They also had skis or jet skis and everything. So I was like, okay. You know, nice little reference there.
Right.
But just to get into it, what do you think about Trudy and her traps, man?
Listen,
I thought that was brutal.
I'm not gonna lie. I think because I forgot what the guy. I get confused with the names of like the villains. Gingerbread. There you go. When he like sees
the
like
main guy, right, or one of the main guys.
Yeah, and like when he sees like the ladder leading up to the attic, he's like, "Yo, like come on," you know. I'm not gonna lie, that was my initial thought too. Like, really, like Trudy, like you fucking blowing your cover over this dumbass shit.
Because she put something there and then she put a nail, and they're like, "Come on, I'm not gonna fall for that."
Exactly, but it's like. Then he starts to go up, and as he's going up, like the ladder, like a step breaks, and like there's like a needle. A big nail, not a needle, a nail that he just like goes through up his. I'm just like, dude, that's insane. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, okay, there's more coming. Like I was like, there's more coming. There's no way.
You see, that was the part of the movie where I was like, damn, this is hard to watch. I was like, it's about to get fucking brutal. I was waiting for something to get even worse. Like at that point, I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen now? And then we have Candy Cane going up the stairs, and she's getting hit with bowling balls.
Just to say. Home Alone being referenced is great, you know, and obviously if you have had to watch Home Alone, the way the traps are set up, all these dangerous things, but not a drop of blood, right?
Exactly. This is like
Trudy does it the right way, you know. Yes. She has everything going.
There's one part of Trudy's thing where I had to stop. I was like, okay, you lost me in that part. But so we have the nail. She has this glass thing. Is it glass that she has broken on the floor or something, or I don't know if it's more nails and stuff, but she keeps on falling on that, and that's fucking brutal.
It was more nails. It looked like it was more nails.
Yeah, it was more nails. And then the bowling balls that were hitting Candy Cane up until they finally hit Gingerbread right in the head. Oh, that I thought was hilarious. He was like looking at the nail, which I thought was stupid, but I mean, it goes along with the characters. Whatever. Yeah. The part that I want to say like completely threw me off. I was like, come on, like this is ridiculous. So I was fine with Candy Cane getting glued on and all that. I was like, again, very similar to Home Alone, very realistic with her fucking head being ripped off of the floor. I was like, that's fucking brutal. At this point, I'm watching the movie like little making cringy faces because I'm like, this is fucking brutal. But there's a part where she's like bouncing off stuff from a trampoline, and there's a part where she bounces off fucking dumbbells. I was like, come on. I was like, dumbbells weren't going to do that.
Listen, there has to be some type of suspense of disbelief.
I know, yes. I mean, it is a movie about Christmas magic.
Right,
Um,
right.
but
Exactly.
when she threw a dumbbell through the trampoline and it bounced through it hit the trampoline, bounced off the trampoline and hit Candy Cane. I was like, all right, you lost me on that one. But
But
every other
like,
trap I thought was
yeah,
very
but
good.
those are like 15s, you know, they weren't like 50s.
I don't know, man. I don't know
No,
what dumbbell would have jumped that high. That shit
but
flew.
point being, Trudy was very creative. I thought the traps were creative, and it showed her resilience. Obviously, Santa must have had some type of you know, impact on her for her to retaliate like him. And then he shows up, you know, and what
Saves
he
the
say
day.
to her? He's like, "You were gonna kill like some little girl or something like that," and he
Yeah,
just completely
you're
bashes
on the
her.
naughty list.
Exactly, exactly. Which is funny. I think because he obviously checks like the list to see if they're naughty, and like obviously when he checks, it's like, oh damn, like I'm in tough shit right now. But I also take it as, oh, you're naughty, like I'm gonna have to kill you. You know, like I can kill you. It's okay if I kill you.
Okay.
Um, no, it was great. It was definitely great. I think even the wipeout of the extraction team, I thought that was cool. A little unrealistic. A little unrealistic. There's no way that all those people like were like isolated in the shed or in the house with him, but it was cool. And then you have like the finale where
He's
okay.
shot.
Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my thing. He's shot. I get it. It's Christmas magic, so we can believe anything. Yeah, I get it. He's shot. He's stabbed, and like near the heart area, I want to say, and like his
Yeah.
legs, and he was shot like 6 times. He falls like from this huge elevation, high
He's
elevation
taking
there.
so much damage at this point.
So
He's
much
covered in
damage,
blood.
and not even that, but prior to this, he's already had so much damage done to him, and he dies for a little bit, and they burn $500,000 to keep him warm, which is, I think, so stupid. This is the
Yeah, it was.
one moment in the movie where I agreed with the sister. Like that's
Yeah,
so
it's like,
stupid. You
it's
could
like,
have
what are you
burnt your
doing?
clothes. You could have burnt just anything else besides your money.
I, I
Whatever.
I don't know what they were trying to do. I was wondering what was the point of that because
Yeah, no,
I thought the fire was actually gonna do something, but to make matters worse, the fire does nothing.
nothing. Absolutely nothing. It just
Don't even mention it afterwards.
his
Like,
line
nothing.
was, I've never felt cold, or I'm so cold," and like, "Oh, we got to
That's
keep
it.
him warm," and it's
That's
just,
it.
I seriously hate the father. Like, I actually hate the father. Like the first 10, 15
Yeah,
minutes, I felt for him and I liked him, but
hundred
he
percent.
stole the money. He couldn't defend his wife against that other guy in the fight. He
He
burnt money
fucking
for no reason, and like he's
he
just
was it was terrible to his daughter. Yeah, I
terrible
don't
to
know.
his daughter with the whole Santa Claus thing. It's just whatever. I thought that was a little stupid, but and then the reindeers come back and
Yeah,
like,
it turns out pretty much the entire family are a piece of shit. The only good
yeah,
character was
exactly.
probably the wife.
I have another question. I have one question here, right, regarding Mrs. Claus. During the film, he takes off his ring and he's talking to Trudy. He's saying, he's mentioning Mrs. Claus, but my impression was that he wasn't with Mrs. Claus, right?
Correct.
But the reindeer come back and give him a note that it is from Mrs. Claus, and like he gets like his hammer back, or whatever.
Yeah.
So are they together? Were they not together? Like it's confusing a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't think they give enough details to say. He just says like adult relationships are difficult, and they've been together for like what is it, 1,200 years or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't really. Yeah, I got the same impression. Whereas like
Yeah.
they're not together, but then he receives a note from her at the end. So I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even that the finale was like all that happened, and like it actually shows its true colors in the sense of like it wraps up only Santa's ending. It doesn't wrap up the ending for the family.
Right.
Nobody cares about that.
Right.
It
Exactly.
just fucking wraps up Santa and then
Yeah.
movie ends.
Which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it because I think Santa is, like I said, the center of this film. And they did a
100%.
poor job with the other cast members here, but I don't know, man. I kind of want to rate it. You know me, when I rate it, I like to kind of just review it a little bit and just talk about it. Just so we have the Christmas element. I loved it. I think they did a great job of incorporating that in a horror film, and a gory horror film at that. And I think David Harbour was great as Santa. I thought the relationship with Trudy was great. I thought the
Scrooge
gore
was
was
awesome.
amazing.
Scrooge was awesome. The names
Scrooge
were
was
awesome.
absolutely awesome. He's been awesome, man. Like
I
ever
think
since I saw him as Luigi.
It's crazy. You like the villains more than the main cast in this movie.
Absolutely. I thought the story was great. I thought that the ties of like Santa's story and the hammer and like Home Alone afterwards and like the way they introduced things came back connected really well. That was great. Everything about that was great. It's funny. It was absolutely funny, which I liked.
Yes,
it was great.
For sure.
Didn't think the acting was great. I don't think the characters were cared for. I thought they were just stupid.
Yeah. I agree with
didn't like the fact that I didn't like the fact that they burnt the money for no reason or the Mrs. Claus thing, and I didn't like the fact that the extraction team couldn't put up more of a fight. I'm being honest with you. I thought that was a little too easy, but it was good. I would watch this again. I would probably watch it every Christmas. 7 out of 10. And I'm not saying this only because it is David Harbour, but I also don't want to be hypocritical either, but I only think David Harbour could have played that role that way. I agree.
Yeah. And in terms of the rating, I would probably agree with you as well.
Yeah.
Really looking back at it, my favorite things about this movie were Santa, the people who he are killing. In other words, the bad guys.
Right.
Gingerbread, Krampus, Scrooge. I thought they all did an amazing job. I thought the Christmas magic was awesome. As I mentioned earlier, John Leguizamo, amazing. I think the biggest cons are like the main storyline with the family. They're not very likable. But I think since they're not really too much of the focus of the movie, they can get away with it and just focus on mostly Santa. I agree. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I would recommend this to people if they haven't watched it yet. I would say go watch it, and it's different. Like I think, like I said, I was never invested in these type of movies. Not Christmas movies, but like gory Christmas movies or like, bloody and horror and all of that stuff incorporated with Christmas doesn't really work. So this one did a great job with that, and I would definitely recommend it. I'm trying to see where you can watch it. You can watch it.
They did add it to streaming, so it is now available to stream. You don't have to go to the movie theaters anymore.
It's also on Apple TV if you want to rent it and watch it.
Yeah, so it is available in digital.
So absolutely, so do that.
Yes. I do recommend. I do want to just quickly talk about another movie that I saw. You didn't get the opportunity to watch it.
I did not, but please feel free.
Yes. So it's Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Right. This is a Shudder exclusive, and all I really knew about it was that it was like a Terminator Santa Claus. We kind of spoke about this. It's like an animatronic Santa. And I want to just quickly go through it. Since you haven't seen it, I mean, I'm not sure if you would at this point.
I am going to, but I also don't care if you spoil it or not, because this is one of those films that the story probably doesn't mean as much. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to downgrade any indie film at all, but
with that being said, so the first thing I want to say is, it's an indie movie, but it actually does not feel like much of an indie movie until I would say, I don't know. I want to say the first 30 minutes of this movie don't feel indie, and I think they do a really good job of that, because I was surprised with not only the writing but the performances, because it's almost like it feels very realistic. It does have that sort of B movie filter where they throw that like staticky over the sort of the movie itself to make it seem like it's more realistic. And it almost feels like, it's a small town. The main actress, I thought she did a pretty good job. She plays this character named Tori. She owns a shop, or is it a bar? I'm not entirely sure. They're leaving, and she's supposed to meet up with somebody else, but her coworker basically gets her to go out with him, and that's kind of how the movie starts, right?
Okay.
I thought that the dialogue was very interesting. There's a lot of writing in this movie, believe it or not.
Really?
In the first 30 minutes, they don't shut up. They do not shut up. They do not shut up.
That's actually kind of rare for an indie film.
100%. And you could tell whoever wrote this had it's the same writer and director. His name is Joe Begos. So let me just quickly read the synopsis just so that I don't forget. This is definitely a Christmas horror movie, more of a horror movie than Violent Night. I will say that.
Okay.
It's Christmas Eve, and Tori wants to get drunk and party. But when robotic Santa Claus at a nearby toy store goes haywire and begins rampant killing spree through her small begins a rapid killing spree through her small town, she's forced into battle for survival. Sorry there, I can't read apparently.
No.
So yes, so Tori's the main actress. I thought she did a great job. She does have there is another actor. His name is Sam Delich. The main actress is Riley Dandy. These are the main two actors of the movie itself. They're the ones that have most of the writing in this movie, and that's why I say like there's a lot of it because it's basically it's just a conversation between them two up until they hook up pretty much. And I don't know. I want to say like early on I was intrigued only because I was thrown off of, I don't want to say the quality, but I was like surprised that this was an indie film up until when the killing started to happen. Even as you watch the trailer, it doesn't look like much of an indie movie. But as the movie progresses, then you understand like it starts to really give you that sort of indie feel. Not only is it start doing all those kills, sort of like the 80s and 90s where you're like look away and you can clearly see it's an animatronic or like a arm or something like that, which I'm totally for. Like I don't mind that. But I think as the movie goes, you start running into other actors who are maybe not the greatest, and that's when you start to see like, okay, this is an indie film. The kills are brutal. There are a lot of brutal kills, a lot of characters that you are surprised that are killed. A lot of cursing, surprising amount of cursing in this movie. But again, it's a Shudder movie. It's an indie movie. I will say I wasn't like, I want to say like towards the last act of the movie, I did get overwhelmed, and I just felt like they were doing too much. Not to rant, but like I get it. It's a Santa Terminator, but like it literally is a Terminator at that point. Like it just doesn't die, and they do that whole thing where like, oh, he's dead. No, he's alive. Oh, he's dead. No, he's alive. 10 times over.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you've just done an excellent job of giving us a non-spoiler review. No, seriously, I really mean that. That was a great job. But based off what you said, I am definitely going to watch it. Now, here's the thing. With indie films, I don't hate indie films. I don't. But we understand what we're going to expect with indie films, right? The acting and the characters itself, I'm not saying that every person who plays a character in an indie film is terrible. I am not saying that. I don't want to discredit anybody and their work. But more often than not, these characters have no story behind them. These characters have no arc. These characters have dialogue that just don't make sense. And for that reason, like a lot of these indie films are films just, I don't even want to say to have fun, but just to be a film. Like this, you say Christmas, Bloody Christmas. I haven't seen the film, but like I wouldn't be surprised if they just made a movie. Like somebody had a thought, yeah, I want to make a Terminator Santa, so let's just do it, and then everything else around it, well, who cares? Like just add it. You know what I'm saying?
I truly believe that's how they made this movie.
But that's my point. And
I think that was the general focus, and I think they just early on they did a good setup, and then somewhere along the line it just became what.
That's fine. And if you enjoy that, if you're one who enjoys that, by all means, do that. I want to give a chance. I like to give these movies chances. So I will end up watching it. Thank you for that. And yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to it. There's nothing else to it really that I can think of at the moment. I will see it myself, and maybe I'll just on a future episode talk about it for 5 minutes and take it from there.
I don't know if I can rate the movie itself, to be honest. But with that being said, it did have me intrigued at the beginning. I did find it interesting, and yeah.
Okay.
It is what it is. If you want to watch it, it's on Shudder. It's another Christmas horror movie, and it just goes to show you how like different movies can be while still being in the same genre, still being Christmas, still being horror. Completely different than Violent Night. And actually, if you go based on ratings, it's rated higher than Violent Night. So take that with a grain of take it with a grain of salt. But definitely watched. Well, for you, I would say definitely give it a shot. Anybody else, if this is your sort of thing, if you don't mind, definitely give it a shot. It's on Shudder. Yeah, maybe we'll come back to it briefly just to do a quick run up.
Right.
All right, that was Christmas, Bloody Christmas.
Speaking of indie films, Winnie the Pooh, February 15th. That's one that I'm actually interested in watching.
So, are we gonna do this? Like, are we actually gonna watch this?
Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, I am. I'm absolutely going to watch it. The
but
trailer.
Then I feel like we have to watch the mean one too. Didn't we miss the mean one already?
The mean one. Are we doing this? Are we doing Christmas indie film? Well, Winnie the Pooh's not really Christmas, but are we doing this? Are we watching indie films?
Come back. Like, we could come back.
We can come back to this, but I'm more interested to watching Winnie the Pooh, and not because it looks great, because it kind of doesn't. Like the trailer kind of doesn't, but it also does look interesting. I'm expecting a stupid story. Like a stupid story, just based on how the characters look.
Yeah, I haven't really read into it, but somebody told me that they eat Eeyore. Is that?
I think I've read that somewhere too. I've heard that. Yeah. But
this is brutal.
You know, watching Winnie the Pooh as a kid, and then you having an indie film about it, how can you not? You know, so.
Yeah, man, they took the most innocent character, man.
It'd be like that. But you got to make it.
Gonna do?
But that's what I'm saying.
What are you gonna do next? A Barney horror movie?
Where
he tortures the kids?
So they did a Santa Terminator. Now they're doing a Grinch, that kills people. And now you got Winnie the Pooh. Well done, everybody.
Yeah.
But that, and speaking of other horror films that are coming out next week, January 6th. Do you know what comes out?
Is that Megan?
Megan. We've talked about it before.
We've been talking about this for a while, man.
Yeah, we've talked about it before. We reviewed the trailer. We've had, we've shared our insights. I am definitely looking forward to this. I even, made the prediction that they're going to make a second film regarding this, character. That may be a little bit of a reach, but just seeing the type of attention it's getting.
Yeah, it is getting a lot of attention, and given that there's not many movies, I would not be surprised.
Yeah. I wanted to tell you, because we talked about how we really appreciated how Megan looked, right? Like the way her face looked, and like it obviously looked like it's some android, and like, but it's also like clean looking, but also at the same time, it's not like Chucky, like a full on doll. It's like there's emotion there with the eyes and all that stuff. So it's a girl who plays Megan. We knew that, a 12-year-old. Yes. I forgot what her name is, but apparently she actually wears a mask on top of her face while she acts. Like, so they probably have that mask, and then like post recording whatnot, they probably add all those effects. Yeah. So that's pretty crazy. Cool. I thought it was like whoever
I
played
really
her
appreciated it. Yeah,
was her face.
I really appreciated that they just even used a little girl and not like something else. Or and the fact that they're having her wear a mask is even more awesome. So yeah, I definitely appreciate that.
That's true. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
No, yeah, and that's only a week away. There's not much coming out. There's not much coming out in, I guess, January for when it comes to movies. So I mean, I think you might be onto something when it comes to these. I think if it's projecting how it looks, there's gonna be a sequel.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's all pretty much I got now. Do you have anything else to mention?
Yeah, so I wanted to just briefly come up with a list. IGN actually made a list of best horror movies of 2022.
Oh, no.
I think you'll be happy with this list. No, I'm not shitting on it at all. This is a different take than the one that you took. I just wanted to mention some movies that we haven't seen that are on this list, and I'll go through it. It's in no particular order. I think
how many movies?
I'm not sure. It looks like there's about 10 or so.
I don't know why lists bother me. I don't know why they just do them. Go ahead.
No, but I feel like I'm okay with this list.
Okay.
Granted, I haven't seen some of these, but that's really what I want to mention. So,
okay.
Pearl is on this list, especially since we're ending the year, right? New Year's is right around the corner. So let's talk about the best horror movies of 2022. Just quickly, let's summarize this. Some of these we've seen, some of these we haven't, and maybe we'll go back and watch them. Guys, let us know. Comment, write in the comments. Let us know on Instagram or on Twitter.
Absolutely.
So the first one that I see here is Pearl. I already have seen this. You have not, but you did see X, correct?
I have seen X.
Yes.
I really enjoyed X. Yes.
If you really enjoyed X, I do highly recommend Pearl, but I
Okay.
do think it has to be accompanied by X. I don't know. I mean, I think it works alone, but I think you appreciate it more having seen X.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes
Because
a
my
lot of
girlfriend
sense.
never saw X, but she liked Pearl.
Oh, okay.
So there's another movie here called The Sadness. This looks like it's a foreign film. Combination in the comments I see here that it's a blend of 28 Days Later and The Purge.
Okay.
Which again sounds interesting. I'm gonna add it to my list. Maybe I'll give it a watch. There's another movie here called Off Season. Again, stop me if you've seen any of these.
No, go ahead.
I have not seen Off Season.
I haven't seen it
This is
either.
apparently a Shudder movie. And one of the things that they compare it to is the Block Island sound, which is apparently like similar to Silent Hill. I'm not seen this, but I just wanted to mention it because it's on the list.
Okay.
There's also a movie here that looks very weird. It's one of those, I guess, I don't even know how you explain this. Like, it's called Hatching.
Hatching.
Yes, Hatching. The picture is a girl holding a giant egg. Take that as you may. It's one of those movies. We
Okay.
maybe I don't know. I don't know. I don't know honestly. I
Okay.
have to do more history. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be a metaphor for becoming a mom. I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have a movie called Deadstream. This is apparently similar to Evil Dead. I had briefly heard about this, but I have not seen this.
Okay.
We have another movie called The Watcher. Again, this is not the TV show
The
Watcher,
TV
but it's
show, right.
called Watcher. This stars
wait,
the
no, I've
same
seen
chick
this.
from The Following.
I
right?
seen Watcher.
You've seen it?
This is a good movie. The
Okay.
Watcher. This is the one I mentioned to you about. She is from the one. She is from It Follows.
Yes. Okay. This is her for sure.
It's a horror film, but it's more of a thriller. It is more of
Okay.
a thriller.
Okay.
It's good. It's good though.
I want to watch this. I want to
Yes.
watch this. I will add this to my list for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So look, you found something that you've seen and I have
Yes.
not. There's another movie called Something in the Dirt. I am not so familiar with this. I'm gonna go ahead and just skip it for now. It looks like another potential zombie. Hypochondriac, another twisted horror movie apparently. Not really sure. Another movie called Speak No Evil. Again, I'm kind of running through these. I think.
Yeah. Go ahead. That's not a
I
problem.
think Speak No Evil is a Netflix movie or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, it doesn't say here. Hellraiser's on the list. We both haven't seen Hellraiser, or did you see it?
I have not seen it.
I
I mean,
have
the
not
original,
seen it as
yes,
well.
not the remake, the Hulu
Correct.
one. No.
The new one. That new one is on this. I have not. I still haven't seen it. I know my girlfriend really wanted to watch it, but something came up and we ended up watching something else.
Right.
Definitely gonna watch it. So maybe we could come back to that one as well, especially since it's a remake of an iconic movie, I would say, or a cult classic at least.
Right.
There's another movie called When Screaming Starts. This looks interesting. I don't know how I feel about this. It looks like it's a comedy, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip this for now. The Harbinger. This looks like it's a COVID-19 metaphor.
Pass.
Yeah. The Innocent. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Okay. Just a good mention there. The Innocent. And then Scream. Scream is on the list.
Thank
You'll
God.
be happy to know Scream is
Thank
on
God
this
there's
list.
a movie there.
Again,
that
this is not in no particular order, so keep that in mind. They
Yeah.
rated this movie a 9 out of 10. So they really enjoyed Scream. Scream is on the list. Of course, new one coming right around the corner. Barbarian is also on the list.
Okay.
And you'll be disappointed to know that Nope is on this list, which is
Um,
always to me where a list loses credibility.
What do they rate that?
9 out of 10.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, that's where, like, again, you start to question things. Like,
I don't
Again-
like Liz, Tommy. I don't like Liz recently. I don't know what it is, man. I don't like it. I think.
well, but wait, hold up. We're not
Go
done
ahead, go
yet.
ahead.
We
Okay,
still
go
got
ahead,
two
go
more
ahead.
movies. The Black
Okay, go
Phone is
ahead.
on the list. The Black Phone.
Thank
they
God,
also rated
okay.
9 out of 10.
Yes.
The Menu's on the list. They rated that.
That I haven't. I have to see that one.
They rated. I'm not sure. I don't think it has the rating here, but The Menu's on the list.
Okay.
And I thought that was pretty good. And then X is on the list, which we've already spoken about.
Perfect. Okay.
That's pretty much the top horror movies according to IGN. for 2022. I just wanted to do a quick run through. Some of these we've seen, some of these we haven't.
Yes.
Let us know if we're missing anything. I just want to make sure that I mention as many horror movies, just to round out the year. And again, if we're missing anything or if there's anything you guys recommend, again, shoot us over a message.
Absolutely, absolutely. We like to hear what you have to say. I do want to comment on that real quick. You know, these lists, right? I do get a little bit, skeptical, like on how they decide these movies and what's good and what's not. They have a couple movies there that we have seen, which is great. These movies that you did not mention, I'm wondering why they mentioned it. Like, obviously, like I haven't seen it, so I can't give insight to it.
Exactly.
However,
that's my whole thing.
That is not my whole thing, but I would like to see the reviews, non-spoiler, obviously, the reviews on what people have to say about it, and I would like to go ahead and watch it for myself. Because obviously, like the Watcher's there, and I have seen the Watcher's there, and I have seen it, and I do like it. But obviously, there's some other lists, like movies on the list, like Nope, that I don't really like at all, and it's there. So lists are good and bad. I'm gonna be nice because I don't feel like there were as many horror movies this year that I would have liked, or maybe it's just me. I really don't know. There's so many movies, like we haven't seen a lot of these movies, right? And that's not because like we're lazy or not, but like we don't just go on every day watching horror movies. We don't do that. There's so many things to catch up on. There's TV shows, there's other horror movies, and there's also other movies in general that we watch, and like, you know, we do like the family thing and all that stuff. It's cool. I'll take.
We work.
We work exactly. We do work Monday to Friday. You know, no hours off, but no days off. But check it out. I will take this list as reference, and I will go ahead and see which movies are good, which aren't. But I promise you, if these movies are not what they are, I will not trust another list anymore. I told you there was another list they had a whole guy dedicated to this role, a prestigious role, like of ranking movies, and he ranked movies in general. This was a New York Times employee, ranked movies in general, not horror, not every single category, every single genre, and he rated Nope as number one. I can't. And then I had the other list that I showed you earlier in the season. It's like it's like what's a valid source anymore?
I don't really understand. We can go a little bit deeper in this if you like, but I don't really understand the attraction with Nope. I know it's an artistic thing, but as a horror movie, and
no, man, it's not, because it's not a horror movie. I'm not putting Jordan Peele or any of the actors down, like, but it's not a horror movie. Like, what are we defining horror as nowadays? You know what I'm saying? It was more of a thriller more than anything. It was suspense and thriller, and it just wasn't it. Like a build up to nothing. But
listen, I mean, just to play red herring for a second, or play devil's advocate. I'm sorry. Okay. We did just review Violent Night, right? That wasn't too much of a horror movie. That was mostly gore. But at the same time, I just don't think Nope was a good movie at all.
That's fine.
Even if we take away horror from that movie, like we say it's not a horror movie, I thought that was the worst Jordan Peele movie out of them all. I would rather watch Get Out.
Because it was. Jordan Peele's movies are ranked how they came out. I'm being honest with you. Get Out is first, Us is second, and then third is Nope.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I'm not trying to discredit him or anything. I think he's a genius.
And I know he didn't direct it, but if we count Candyman, I would.
Exactly.
I would rank Candyman over Nope as well.
Yeah, it's
just for the record.
Not to discredit Jordan Peele, I think he's a genius. But yeah, it wasn't there for me, and that's just me. Like, if you loved it, you loved it. We can agree to disagree. But like Tom Cruise mentioned, that's the list that IGN presented. Like I said, I'm going to take it as reference, and use that for my own benefit. Don't have anything else to mention here.
With that being said, you ready to sign us off?
Yes. With that being said, well, first and foremost, thank you to anyone who's listening to this, whether it's on the podcast or on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it. Happy holidays to everybody. Happy New Year. Hopefully this New Year is going to be a great one for you and your family.
And thank you for sticking along for this long, right? Sticking around
just
throughout the entire year.
Just about to say, this is our first full year doing this podcast. We do it again because, we have a love and a passion for horror, and I would rather share it with, Tommy than anyone else. And we're going to keep on going. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the views. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the follows. With that being said, follow us on Twitter at That's Horrific. Follow us on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Instagram at Well That's Horrific. Because if you don't,
well, that's horrific.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, guys.